He came from the poverty-stricken lands of Austria. With a body carved like a god, he conquered the world of bodybuilding. With a strange accent and unstoppable ambition, he stormed Hollywood and became the Terminator. But Arnold wasn't just a movie star. He became the governor of California, one of the most powerful political seats in America. Behind the fame, though, were scandals, betrayal, and a dramatic fall from grace. This is the story of power, desire, ambition, and the rebirth of a man whose mind was just as strong as his muscles. Was Arnold Schwarzenegger truly a hero, or just a master actor who fooled the world? If you're the kind of person who doesn't just watch greatness, but wants to build it, then this channel is where you belong. Subscribe. Before Arnold was a name, he was a warning. The world remembers him for his muscles, but the truth is, his body was never his strongest weapon. He came from a place where dreams froze before they grew. No spotlight, no luck. Just a stubborn boy with a mind forged from steel. They told him, "Your accent is ridiculous. Your body is too much. No one will take you seriously." He didn't answer with words. He answered by conquering the world. Bodybuilding, he dominated it. Hollywood, he owned it. Politics, he reached the summit. But his story wasn't only about rising. It was about a fall that could have destroyed anyone. Scandal, betrayal, the collapse of an empire. And then, silence. But legends aren't born when life goes right. Legends are born when everything falls apart. This is the story of a man who proved to the world. True strength isn't just rising to power. It's rising again after you lose it all. Subscribe. The winters in Austria were brutal, but the coldest place in young Arnold's life was inside his own home. Not because of snow or ice, but because of the man who ruled it. Arnold Schwarzenegger was born in 1947 in the remote village of Thal, a quiet corner of post-war Austria still haunted by the ghosts of World War II. It was the kind of place where dreams didn't grow. They froze. His father, Gustav, a former police officer with military roots, was strict, authoritarian, and emotionally distant. His mother, warm but submissive, offered little protection. In this icy household, Arnold found only one escape: his imagination. At night, while others slept, he hid under blankets with a flashlight, flipping through smuggled bodybuilding magazines. Images of men with impossible physiques, gods carved from stone. And every time, he whispered to himself, "One day, I'll look like that. Not just strong, legendary." But no one believed him. Not his classmates, not his teachers, not even his family. When he told his school teacher he wanted to go to America, she laughed and said, "You can't even leave this village. America, that's a fantasy." That humiliation didn't crush him. It ignited him. Arnold didn't just build muscle. He engineered his mind. He trained like a soldier, but thought like a conqueror. At age 14, he wrote his own workout plans. At 15, he studied psychology and motivation. By 16, he woke up at 5 a.m. to train before school. He wasn't chasing fitness. He was building an empire inside his head. Trainers said he was a machine. The way he stared at his goals, like nothing else existed. And in 1967, at just 20 years old, Arnold became the youngest man ever to win Mr. Universe. But while the world cheered, he stood on stage with one thought: this is nothing. This is just step one. I didn't want to be the best bodybuilder. I wanted to be known by everyone, in gyms, in schools, on screens. I wasn't chasing strength. I was chasing immortality. In the 1970s America, opportunity was everywhere. But not for someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger. A man with a thick German accent, a name no one could pronounce, and a body so massive it looked fake on camera. When Arnold first arrived in Los Angeles, everything flipped. In Austria, he was a legend. In Hollywood, a joke. Producers laughed. Casting directors rejected him. They said, "He sounds like a Nazi. He looks like a freak. No one wants to watch this guy act." But Arnold understood something no one else did. Image is louder than words. And his image, unforgettable. His first leading role in Hercules in New York was so poorly received, they dubbed over his voice. But instead of quitting, he trained harder. He studied acting, improved his English, and most importantly, he waited. The Terminator, directed by James Cameron, wasn't just a movie. It was a revolution. Arnold had only 58 words of dialogue, but he didn't need more. His presence said everything. He was cold, mechanical, terrifying, and yet magnetic. The film exploded, and suddenly, the man once mocked for his body and voice became an icon. From that point forward, Arnold didn't just star in movies, he created a genre. Predator, Commando, Total Recall. Every film with his name meant box office gold. Not because of dramatic performances, but because of a conqueror's charisma. But even Hollywood wasn't enough. Arnold now wanted something far bigger. Power. Arnold was no longer just a bodybuilding champion, nor just a Hollywood superstar. He had become the embodiment of the American dream. He had it all: the steel body, the million-dollar empire, luxurious mansions in the Hollywood Hills, and fame that echoed across the globe. But deep inside, something remained unfinished, as if he hadn't climbed high enough yet. He didn't just want to be remembered as a legend of film or fitness. He wanted something bigger, something historical. Then came the perfect storm. In 2003, California plunged into political and economic chaos. The sitting governor resigned under pressure, and the state teetered on the edge of collapse. Debt was mounting, protests erupted. The people were angry and desperate for a savior. And in the middle of this chaos, Arnold stood on live television with his signature smile, leaned into the microphone and said, "I am running for governor of California." It hit like a bombshell. The media went into a frenzy. Was this a joke? A publicity stunt? Pundits laughed. He's an actor, not a leader. But Arnold didn't flinch. With that same unshakable confidence that had carried him through gyms and movie sets, he launched his campaign. He wasn't offering empty promises. He offered a brand. The Terminator who would fix California. People rallied around him. They didn't care about his accent or lack of political experience. They saw a fighter, a man of action. And in a shocking landslide victory, Arnold became the governor of California. He traded the set for Sacramento, the sunglasses for a suit. But this wasn't a movie. And the villains here didn't wear leather. In politics, the enemy smiles, shakes your hand, and buries you with paperwork and red tape. Arnold faced battles no gym had prepared him for. Billions in budget deficits, union strikes, climate crises, immigration chaos, and broken school systems. The media called him the Governator, a fusion of governor and Terminator, and for a while, the nickname fit. But slowly, the glamour wore off. The political machine didn't bend to charisma or muscle. His approval ratings dropped. Legislators pushed back. The very system he'd hoped to fix began grinding him down. Then came the final blow, not from politics, but from within. In 2011, just weeks after leaving office, the truth surfaced. Years earlier, Arnold had fathered a secret child with the family's housekeeper. A son, raised under the same roof as his other children, completely hidden from the public eye. The revelation shattered his image. Maria Shriver, his wife and a member of the Kennedy dynasty, left him. The media devoured him. The icon fell. The man who had built an empire on strength, discipline, and control had lost everything that truly mattered. Later, Arnold would admit, "The worst thing I lost wasn't my marriage. It was trust. And you can't rebuild trust in the gym." There were no cameras now, no cheering crowds, no campaign slogans, just a man, alone, staring at the ruins of the life he'd built. But even in that silence, the fire inside him refused to die. Because what defines greatness isn't just rising to the top. It's how you rise again after you've lost it all. There were no cheers, no flashing cameras, no roaring fans, no red carpets, no suits or speeches, just silence. And a man staring into a mirror, trying to recognize the face looking back. The same man who once conquered the world with a single line, "I'll be back," now sat hunched over, quiet, older, and deeply uncertain whether he ever could come back. After the scandal, after that story exploded like wildfire across the world, everything collapsed. Not the buildings, not the brand, but the man. He wasn't the governor anymore. He wasn't the champion. He wasn't even the star. He was just Arnold, a man with a secret son, a man who had betrayed a legacy, not only his wife, not only the Kennedy name, but the very idea of who he had worked so hard to become. For decades, he had been the symbol of control, of discipline, of strength, of unstoppable ascent. And now, he was a headline, a punchline, a man who had lost the one thing even muscle couldn't rebuild: trust. His wife, Maria, left. The public turned cold, and his children didn't know what to say. And the boy, the secret son, the one who had grown up in his own home, under his own roof, knowing nothing, was now looking at him with a truth too heavy for any teenage heart. Something inside Arnold broke. Not a bone, not a ligament. Something deeper. Something no surgery could fix. For the first time in his life, he faced something he couldn't lift. A weight he couldn't train away. A problem that couldn't be solved with charisma or charm or another comeback. This wasn't a role. It wasn't a fight. It was real. So, he stayed quiet. No films, no cameras, no speeches, just silence. And in that silence, he started again. Not with workouts, not with movies, but with therapy, with long talks, with long walks, with honesty, brutal, bitter honesty. He built bridges with his son. He listened to his kids. He admitted publicly that what he had done was selfish, cowardly, and that he didn't deserve forgiveness. But he would earn it anyway. And slowly, painfully, he began to rebuild. Years later, when the noise had settled and the spotlight had dimmed, he returned. But not as the Terminator. Not as Mr. Universe. Not as the Governator. He returned as a man who had fallen from greatness and lived. He told his story. In his own documentary, Arnold, he opened the doors that once hid his deepest shame. He said, "The worst thing I lost wasn't my marriage. It was trust. And trust doesn't come back with biceps. It comes back with time and truth." He stood on stages again, not to sell protein or movies or slogans, but to speak to people who were hurting, who had failed, who had broken just like him. And for the first time, he wasn't inspiring them with perfection, but with humanity. The world he had built, from iron and ambition, had cracked. But inside him, something had survived. Something he hadn't lost. That old fire. The same fire that burned in a skinny boy in a cold Austrian village, hiding bodybuilding magazines under his blanket, whispering to himself, "One day, I'll be more than strong. I'll be remembered." And maybe now, finally, he would be. Not for his muscles, not for his movies, not even for his politics, but for the hardest thing a man can ever do: to fall and still get back up, still